welcome to Work It Out Wednesdays. I am your host, Rhonda Wright. If this is your first time watching Work It Out Wednesdays, this is just a platform where I come on once a week to share a few words to encourage you, uplift you, just to give you an extra boost to help you through the rest of your day and the week. As always, if you like what you are hearing on these videos, please go ahead and hit like, share, subscribe, and turn on your bell. That way you'll be notified every time we post a new video. Now let's get into it. Today I want to talk with you on the topic of trust. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone and your trust was broken? Now, when I say relationship, I'm not just referring to romantic. I'm talking about family, friends, co-workers, any type of relationship. You're just in a relationship with someone who you value, you cherish, you love, you care about. And you may have put your trust in that person or put your trust in that relationship, and that person betrayed your trust. And it can be very devastating and it can be very hurtful. You may find yourself questioning, why did you even trust that person? Why did you even give it a chance? Why? I want to first encourage you to not blame yourself. Don't ever blame yourself for someone mishandling or mistreating you. It is not your fault. I want to give you an analogy like this. Have you ever had a favorite dish or an item? And that item could be a mug or some type of heirloom, something that has a lot of sentimental value to you. And let's say one day you mishandle that item to the point wherein it drops and it breaks. Can you imagine how you will feel, especially if it's something that has sentimental value or if it was an heirloom? Can you imagine how you would feel if you mishandled it and you broke it? Now imagine that it's now broken and you pick up the pieces and you try to put it back together by glue or whatever. And now when you're looking at it, it's put back together, but you can see the cracks in it. You can see certain chips are still missing because you got either a hole in it or it's just, you can tell that there's chips missing. And you're looking at your item, it's all put back together, but it does not look the same. It does not look like it did before it was broken. And so even though it's put back together, it don't look the same, it don't feel the same. You're still heartbroken, right? Relationships are the same in a way. Once that trust has been broken, that relationship is not going to look and feel the same way it did as it did before it was broken. But I'm here to encourage you that unlike the item, the mug or whatever, relationships, you can repair it and restore it to the point where in some cases your relationship might become even better than it did before trust was broken. And here's why I say that. It takes two people to want to repair something that has been broken. Now you may be asking yourself, I was the one who the offended, they broke the deal. They, did something that tarnished the trust in the relationship. So what is it that I have to do? And I'm the one who was offended. Well, here's what. Even though you were offended, you are absolutely correct that it's not your fault. However, you also have a role to play in helping to rebuild that trust, because you could easily say, I don't want to deal with the person anymore. I don't want the relationship anymore. Just throw it all away. I don't want to have any parts of it. You could say that. But if you did that, then the relationship would never get back on track. The relationship would never be repaired. So that is the role that you have, is to show mercy and to be willing to allow the offender to do what they need to do to help repair the trust. So that is the role as the offended should have. The offender, you have to acknowledge your wrongs, take responsibility, take ownership. The worst thing you can do is point the finger, blame, and try to make excuses as to why you did what you did. At the end of the day, I always believe, don't make excuses, and certainly don't blame someone else for the choices that you made. We all have the ability to choose right and wrong. And regardless of how someone treats you, doesn't give you the right to do wrong. Okay? You still have to choose the right path. But don't blame, don't point the finger, don't make excuses. Just acknowledge the wrong, take responsibility, take ownership, apologize, and ask for forgiveness. Then do the things that you know you need to do to help repair it. Make sure that you continue to be a man and woman of your word. Make sure that you ask them, what can you do to repair the situation? And then see if the both of you can come to an agreement on what you are able to do in order to help fix the situation. But both parties, you will need both parties in order to repair it. Proverbs 3:5-6 says that trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. I wanted to share that text because this is very important to me when I'm thinking about how to handle situations where I feel as though trust has been broken. Because granted, trust is like the foundation of a relationship. You know, trust brings about peace. Trust brings about confidence and assurance in the relationship and the person that you have put your trust in. And whenever that trust has been broken, it can be really devastating. I mean, who wants to be in a relationship if you can't trust the person? Like, that's not going to work. That won't work for me. Also, if the person is a repeat offender, that also won't work for me. So you have to know what works, what you can live with and what you can't live with, what works for you and what would not work for you. But in all of these situations, acknowledge him. Put your trust in God. Lean not to your own understanding. Put your trust in God. Acknowledge him in all your ways. So whatever situation you might be facing with, and trust has been broken, I will encourage you to acknowledge God and ask him to direct your path on how to handle that situation. Do you throw it away, or do you continue to work and rebuild? But he would direct your path. Lean on him. Put your trust on him, not your understanding. Sometimes our perception of what the situation is and what we will want, what we probably would naturally do in a situation wherein our trust has been broken, may not necessarily be what we need to do. So put your trust in God. Lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge him in your situation and allow God to direct your path, whether you should stay or whether you should leave. God has our best interests at heart. And whenever our trust has been broken, it's tough. It is tough, especially when it's with someone that you really cared about. But I am a firm believer that if this situation, if anything, it's a teaching lesson. Every situation is a teaching lesson. And you have to find the good in it all. Even in the midst of hurt, find the good. find the lesson. And even the lesson could be a hard lesson, but it's a good thing because it only builds you, it strengthens you. And if it's a relationship that should be repaired, if it's a relationship um that can be repaired, I do believe that that relationship can now be even greater than it was before. But it would take both parties in order to make that happen. It can't be one-sided. It's not going to work with just one person doing all the work and not the other. So that's all that I have. So let's work it out. Let's work out rebuilding our trust back in relationships where needed. Let's work out acknowledging God in all of our ways so that He can direct our paths on whether we should stay in the relationship, leave the relationship. Just acknowledge Him in all your ways so that He can direct your path. And I do believe that regardless of which way you go, it's all going to be okay. So do not be disheartened at the fact that you may be dealing with a situation where your trust has been broken and you could be feeling very heartbroken and devastated, but all is not lost. So be encouraged, work it out. That's all I have for today. I hope I've said something to encourage you, to motivate you. And remember, if this was a blessing to you, please share this video so that it can be a blessing to someone else. Until we speak again next week, take care and goodbye.